Two Earthbound astronauts named Adam and Jake are spotted in their spacecraft in the year 2800. They are taking off for a planet called Antares, which is said to be home to a sizable human population. The two astronauts are now humanity's only chance because a lethal virus has rendered women back on Earth entirely infertile. Their goal is to visit Antares, locate some ladies, and persuade them to come to Earth. When the spacecraft approaches Antares, the peculiar gravitational attraction of the planet causes it to abruptly become unstable. Although Adam and Jake make every effort to retake control of the ship, they are only partially successful, and it crashes to the ground. Jake suffers the most serious injuries, however both astronauts are just slightly hurt. Large rock formations can be seen everywhere in this desolate wasteland, which is devoid of any flora. Adam treats Jake's injuries while also injecting him with a cutting-edge syringe that will instantly heal him. A dog's barking is suddenly heard as the two are speaking. They had previously thought that there was no life on the planet. After hearing the bark, they become more motivated and Adam begins to pursue the sound. He finds a youngster holding his dog and looking worriedly primitive. Adam tries to approach the terrified youngster, but he screams. Unfortunately, he is quickly apprehended by the snakeheads, who look to be women dressed in crude military garb. The little child is swiftly knocked unconscious and arrested while his dog flees. Adam, on the other hand, is exploring the unfamiliar location when a powerful earthquake shakes him. He phones Jake right away via his smartwatch out of fear and requests that he conduct a geoscan of the region. After that, Adam travels farther into the territory until he finds a huge temple. He stealthily creeps inside and is shocked to see a lot of women there. It turns out that on this planet, women are in charge of everything, while most males are reduced to servitude and a small number are utilized for reproduction. Women can be seen singing what appears to be prayers for their serpent lord within the temple. In this instance, we are aware that the pious ladies are members of a cult that is headed by the courageous Taxon. The Snake Lord, an enormous cobra, then emerges from the ground at the same time. The Queen of planet Antares, who appears to be unimpressed with the cult's efforts, is then introduced to us. Taxon discloses that the kid is ready to be sacrificed to the Snake King as Adam watches in amazement and terror. Dove, the boy's sister and one of the Queen's warriors, engages Taxon's cult members in combat after hearing this. The division of the temple's female population into two factions, one supporting Taxon and the other the Queen. Everyone is watching as Dove fights alone while the Snake Lord suddenly swoops down and eats one of the cult members. Taxon sends her women to grab Dove, but the Queen intervenes, stating that she was just acting in self-defense. As the two leaders are about to argue, Adam, who had been hiding in a corner, receives a call from a buddy, alerting everyone else in the room. Taxon sends her warriors after him right away, but Adam uses one of his powerful weapons to create a distraction and escape. Will, the little child, also makes it out of the temple during the commotion. Adam and the little child eventually catch up and move for the spaceship to leave the planet. However, one of Taxon's ladies shoots Adam in the leg before he even has a chance to enter. He is still able to enter the spaceship with the aid of Jake and the youngster, but the arrow seems poisoned, leading him to gradually go unconscious. The Queen appears outside with her own soldiers and orders Taxon's cult group to disperse. They first object, arguing that it is completely okay for women to murder males, but when Sumuru declares that she is the Queen and that she has authority over everything, they grudgingly agree. The Queen then faces the aliens within the spacecraft. Then, she extracts an anti-venom and administers it to Adam, saving his life. The following scene has Adam and Jake being taken to the Queen's home, where they are able to have a private meeting. Jake says that his prior geoscans revealed that the Earth is perishing, which is why earthquakes are occurring so frequently. The planet has a maximum lifespan of 2 months before it inevitably self-destructs. Adam is later escorted to the Queen's chamber for questioning. He says hello and identifies himself as being from Earth. He also asserts that because certain humans were dispatched on a terraforming mission 1,000 years ago, the inhabitants of Antares are descended from people who lived on Earth. For the first 100 years, they often reported their results, but after that, all correspondence halted. They didn't look for much information about their people in Antares since they were focused on the Earth, which had experienced a terrible conflict. The Queen is shocked to hear all of this, but she still agrees with the assertions because their folklore refers to the Earth. The subject of snake cult comes up as the two continue their conversation. According to Queen Sumuru, people turned to religion as a result of the frequent earthquakes, which is when Taxon gained authority. She hails from a very noble family and thought she was meant to rule as queen, but the people rejected her. She has been recruiting cult members in order to eventually usurp the throne for herself. The huge cobra simply appeared. Adam, who is horrified by the facts, attempts to convince the Queen that everyone has to leave the Earth immediately since it is dying. However, the Queen won't listen to a man. Instead, she shifts the subject to the dominance of males in Antares. She says that long ago, the guys set off a significant flash of light that killed several people. Since that time, women have ruled the nation, and killing males who are discovered to be rebellious is entirely legitimate. The Queen then directs Adam to a rudimentary mine where all the males are employed as workers. The Queen claims that males are occasionally used for reproduction, occasionally used as sacrifices, or either utilized as slaves. Adam finds the scene repulsive, but when he attempts to express his disapproval, he is pummeling and taken away. Unfortunately, Taxon's gang attacks the guards as they are bringing him back to the Queen's home. All of the Queen's guards are killed by the infamous cult members. Dove is also one of the victims. Adam is taken to Taxon's apartments in the meanwhile, where the Snake Queen invites him to support their cause. To get him into her side, she even gives him a passionate kiss. Adam, being the intelligent person that he is, immediately declines. Jake and Will, posing as guards, come to save Adam before he sustains any injuries. Taxon attempts to fight back, but the Queen gives her one blow and knocks her unconscious. The astronauts talk about the status of the world as they make their way out via the tunnels, and Jake confesses that they have less time than he originally thought. His latest projections indicate that Antares might explode within a few days. Overhearing their chat, the Queen pulls out her locket, which contains a unique ingredient. It turns out that the element is mined in a region known as the Barren Zone, which is the same location where the earthly spacecraft touched down 1,000 years ago. The astronauts are thrilled to hear this because, if they can somehow get there and restart the ship, they can return to Earth. They begin moving toward the fire zone after the Queen also offers to assist them. They manage to avoid many of Taxon's thugs en route and release some guys who had been imprisoned as slaves. When the astronauts eventually make it outdoors, Queen Sumuru informs them that there are still several kilometers to go because the burn zone is hidden behind a sizable hill. Jake and Adam choose to press on with their quest despite the difficulties with the Snake group hard on their heels. Shortly after, Adam makes an attempt to persuade the Queen to accompany them by pointing out that it's more safer up there on Earth. She gently rejects, stating that she serves the people rather than ruling them. A powerful earthquake strikes at that moment, sending the group tumbling. Jake concludes from this that the planet's imminent destruction is becoming closer. The gang discovers the skeleton remains of a man. When Jake looks at the bones, he discovers that the guy passed away around 900 years ago, the same year that humanity first arrived on Antares. Further investigation reveals that the majority of the males died as a result of a solar outburst that occurred nearby. When the Queen hears this, she knows that the flash of light their ancestors saw centuries before was this one. The men weren't guilty after all since the light was brought on by natural events. Their religion, which claimed that men are dangerous and bad, was founded on a falsehood all these years. The Queen is devastated by the news, but the guys urge her to move quickly since they are running out of time. The gang ultimately leaves the burn zone in the following scene, which shows what looks to be a large space dome. While Adam and the Queen go to another chamber to engineer the controls from there, Jake and Little will attempt to restart the engine from the control room. The astronauts finally succeed in reigniting the engine after much work, but sadly, Taxon and her thugs also arrive. The two sides engage in a terrible struggle, but because to Adam's cutting-edge technology, he is able to blow up the majority of the bad ladies. There is now just Taxon left, and she dares the Queen to a fair one-on-one duel. The Queen accepts. The two are initially evenly matched, but soon the Queen takes the lead because to her amazing combat skills. When the evil Taxon realizes she is going to lose, she pulls out her knife and leaps forward to attack, but once more, the Queen effortlessly repels her attack. The Snake Queen beats the other woman up for a bit before throwing the woman against a generator and electrocuting her to death. The tenacious Taxon refuses to give up and attacks the Queen with her knife. However, Adam shoots her this time, killing her for good. Jake was able to ignite the spaceship back in the control room, and it is now prepared for takeoff. The Queen also chooses to accompany Jake, Adam, and Will on their voyage to Earth after realizing that men are not to blame for any of the crimes on Antares and that the planet is perishing. The whole population of Antares, including the males, the warriors serving the Queen, and even Taxon's cult followers, are in awe of the enormous spaceship. Adam regrets seeing them without their leader and advises that they all board the ship, which has room for 500 people. Jake attempts to stress that the powerful tremors can destroy the ship, but Adam and the Queen are ready to take their risks. Jake is forced to comply with the instructions and begins lowering the spacecraft. They soon reach the surface, where the inhabitants are astounded to see the enormous building they had previously referred to as the burn zone. They are traveling to a distant planet since their world is going to expire, the Queen Sumuru announces as she comes outside and tells everyone to enter. There will be many more individuals on the Earth when there are no differences in terms of gender, color, or religion. The populace hears this, gets thrilled, and rushes inside the ship. A powerful earthquake jolts everyone before Jake and Adam can steer the spacecraft away from the planet. They see the enormous serpent slicing through one of the ship's propellers. Adam gives Jake the directive to fully throttle the propeller as the clock is running out. The spacecraft ultimately leaves planet Antares for good. A woman walks into the control room and offers Will his misplaced canine. It appears that the woman not only protected the dog from Taxon, but also saved it. As the spaceship launches to the Earth, everyone in the control room is playing with the puppy as the movie comes to a close.